Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Bonnie and this is Happy Space Creates. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would share with you what I made throughout the month of March, so if that's something you would like to see, do stay tuned. So welcome back. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a what I made in March video for you, but also combine it with a pattern review. So coincidentally, everything I made in March did come from the same pattern, so I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to do a little pattern review for you. Now, if you haven't seen what I made for my Frugal Frocks challenge, do check it out. I'll leave a little link to the video up there for you. That was the only other thing that I made in March. And you can find out more about it in that video. But this month I'm actually going to be going back to work very soon, and I needed some new work clothes. Now, because all of the shops have been closed recently, I knew that I needed to get my wardrobe ready to return to work. So it was a great opportunity for me to make some work clothes. So what happened was I was going through my stash to see what kind of clothing would be suitable for me to go to work in. Now, if you don't know, I am a beauty therapist, so I do spend my days massaging, painting nails, doing eyelashes and waxing. So I do need to wear clothes that are comfortable and loose because they are comfy to wear all day, and also it can get quite hot massaging, so I like clothes that aren't necessarily close to my body. And also I prefer things that aren't long sleeved, just because it's less likely that I'm going to dip my elbows and things into products. So that's just a little bit of idea of the kind of clothes that I needed to make for work. So the pattern that I decided to go for was the New Look 6459, which looks like this one here. Now, I did post a picture of this on my Instagram at the beginning of the month, and this got a really positive feedback from you all. Lots of you commented saying that this was one of your go-to patterns. So that definitely filled me with confidence, and I knew that I was heading in the right direction to make some works clothes. So just a little bit of background information about this pattern before I show you what I made. I do have some notes here just so that I don't forget anything, so do bear with me. Now, this was a free pattern that came with Sew magazine. I believe it came free with it quite a while ago. I do remember picking it up maybe last year, the beginning of last year, maybe. I can't even remember, it's been so long. But if you look closely at the pattern, you can see that there is this gorgeous little crop top. Well, it's not even a crop top, but a gorgeous little shell top type thing. Then these lovely trousers and a more tunic length top. Now, this is exactly the kind of style that our usual beauty tunics are made in. So it was definitely ticking all the right boxes for what I needed. This lady here is wearing just a really wonderful, spring kind of look. Unfortunately, I can't get away with wearing colours like that at work just because it's not very practical with different products. I use a lot of dyes and things, so it just would get ruined if I used something like that. Especially for the trousers. Tops I could probably get away with, but definitely not the trousers. So this pattern comes in a size range from 8 to 20. Now that is the size 8 is starting at a 31.5-inch bust, a 24-inch waist and a 33.5-inch hip. So that is the size 8. And then goes up to the size 20, which is a 42-inch bust, a 34-inch waist, and then a 44 hip as well. So that is the size range for you. So the suggested fabrics for this pattern are cotton types, crepe, jacquards, linen type, sateen, silk, or silky type fabric. And you do need a zip if you're going to make the trousers, and a button for each, and then you do need a little bit of interfacing as well, so do bear that in mind. I was trying to find this pattern online to see if they sold it separately, but they don't. I did have a look on Amazon with no luck, but I did manage to find a couple on eBay for as little as £2.50. So if you did want to purchase this pattern, I would definitely start looking at eBay or even some of your de-stash sites on maybe Facebook or Instagram. So let me go into the detail a little bit more about this pattern. So I don't know if you can see here, but the thing that drew me to this pattern was that it has a really unusual sort of arm cut there. So it actually cuts in like in a sort of triangular shape. Now I thought that was a really interesting detail. I've got quite narrow shoulders, so a shoulder adjustment is something that I need to do quite often on garments. So where it was quite a high neck, I felt like that would be very suitable to wear to work because I'm leaning over people and it's not appropriate to have any cleavage coming out. So again, it was ticking all the right boxes for what I needed for work. Now, going to these trousers, they look like a smart yet loose fitting trouser, which is exactly what I needed. When I'm massaging, I do all sorts of lunges and different various positions that I have to stand in. So it's really important that I have lots of wiggle room in there. So I decided to get started and make the View B, which is the one I just discussed. I made the View B and I started off by making it in this beautiful caramel coloured gingham fabric. So here is the top made up. I think you can probably see the shape of the sleeve a bit better now. So I got this cute gingham fabric from eBay from a place called Midland Textiles Limited, and it was £4 for a metre, so it was an absolute bargain price, and I purchased 1 metre of it. So I think the pattern calls for 80 centimetres, so it's a really stash busting project, but I got a top out of it and I've got enough left over to make like a small little item. So I absolutely love this fabric. It is just a 100% cotton gingham and it's in this beautiful caramel colour. So that was the first that I made. I actually cut this in a size 14 for the top. Now, when I made this first one, immediately I knew it was going to be too big for me. I could just tell from the shape. So I will insert some pictures of me wearing it, and I think you can see that it is quite oversized towards the waist, but it doesn't really bother me because, like I said, I'm going to be wearing it for work. So it does remain comfortable. Also, like if you're eating and stuff, it doesn't matter if you get a little bit bloated after lunch because it doesn't show anything. But I really particularly like the fact that it has no sleeves. I quite often just wear a little cardigan for work. So it is easy for me to take my cardigan on and off and have nice bare arms ready to do my massages when I get to work. So that's really good. Now I actually only ended up using about 80 centimetres for this top. So it's a really good stash busting project. I didn't really struggle too much with the pattern. It's extremely quick and easy to sew. So as I said, I didn't really have any problems with this version. It does have some bust darts at the front. Now what I will say is once I had finished making this and I put this on, I could see that the bust darts were sitting quite low and it wasn't really doing anything for me with the shape. So I wanted to make this top again because I think it's a really good staple to wear to work. I have actually worn this version quite a few times since, so it not fitting quite right doesn't actually bother me because it's looser fitting. I think it is great for the summer because it's nice and breezy. But moving on to my second version of this, I'm actually wearing it now, but I will insert some pictures for you. So if I take my cardigan off, you can see the beautiful arm detail that comes in. Now this I sized down slightly, so I kept the same 14 at the top and then graded down to a 12 at the sides just so it was less like triangular. If I felt like it was hitting me and then coming out. I did make some alterations to this pattern and I will discuss this now because I feel like this is really important to know. So looking at the pattern, I could see that the bust dart was too low for where my bust sits. So I took to YouTube and I did some research as to how to move a bust dart, which is something that I haven't really done before. Now, I'm just going to look at my notes because I have the information here for me. I found a YouTube channel called Made to Sew. Now I haven't actually watched Anika before. It's her sewing channel and she has a whole host of really technical sewing tutorials for you to follow. So I watched 2 of her videos. I watched the how to move a bust dart video and the how to find your bust apex video. Those two videos go hand in hand because it's really important that if you're going to move your bust dart, you know where you're moving it to, which was something that I wasn't aware of. So using Anika's videos, I managed to follow them step by step and adjust my pattern in order to move my bust darts at a different angle. So if I get my pattern piece out, I might be able to show you a bit clearer as to what I did. Now, before you all scream, I do actually cut my paper patterns. With some of my indie sewing patterns, I do trace them, but with the ones that come free with the magazines, I do tend to just cut them because life is short. And it's no harm, is it really? So if I show you on this pattern here, you can see that the original bust dart comes in at a straight line coming across, and then it pleats upwards. Now, if you can see closely, I have actually changed the dart line. So you can see that actually I've angled it to come upwards. Now, you can see here the measurements that I took to find my bust apex. Those are all measurements that Anika tells you how to do in her video, so it was really, really helpful. And then you can see in pencil, just about, that I've managed to change the angle to come up from under that arm and then up to my bust apex. Now, do go and watch Made to Sew. Anika's videos do explain it far more superior than I ever can. But I just wanted to show you a little bit about the adjustment that I made, because I feel like if I had not made that adjustment, I would not have made this pattern again. And it's important to understand that all of our bodies are different and we aren't all going to, much like we don't all fit the clothes that come ready to wear, we're not always going to fit the sewing patterns straight out the packet. So I feel like these adjustments are really important to know. So a little bit more about this blue version that I made. This is made out of a leftover piece of linen that I had from the peppermint button-down dress that I made. This is, again, I only had like a little bit left, so I managed to play a little bit of pattern Tetris and get it out of just the scrap that I had. It's a really good stash buster, this one. If you have any tiny bits left over from a project, I guarantee that you'll be able to use it to make this top. So moving on to my third make using this pattern, I then moved on to making this set of trousers. Now this is view C. So when I was looking at the hashtag for this on Instagram, after people had commented saying that it was a fabulous pattern, lots of you were saying it was your go-to trouser pattern. So I have actually never really experimented with making trousers before. Excuse me. I've made shorts before, but the shorts that I've made have been pyjama shorts or very like jogging bottom shorts, so they're really not very fitted and they're made of stretchy material. So I haven't really made a tailored pair of trousers before. I decided to purchase 3 meters of some polyester black fabric. Now the black polyester fabric that I got, I purchased from Fabrikate. So she has her own website that you can shop through, and I purchased 3 meters of black polyester suiting, and I think I paid around about £13 for 3 meters. That does include delivery as well, so overall that was a pretty bargain price. So I'll insert a little video of me wearing these trousers. Now I will start off by saying I did make a mistake here because I cut the size 16 because I followed my measurements on the back of the packet here. What I should have done was I should have actually looked at the finished garment measurements because I would have sized down if I had known that. If I was to make these again, I would size down by about 2 sizes because the waist was extremely large for me. And so because of that, they are a little bit oversized in other areas, but I did try to take everything in as much as I could. So definitely making this again, I will probably size down by at least 2 sizes on the waist, but definitely by 1 on like the hips. But overall, this trouser pattern was extremely easy. I've always felt a little bit nervous about trouser patterns in the past. I feel like trousers I feel like they're just hard to fit, and like I see lots of people making them and having problems with the fit, so I've always kind of steered clear of them. So to have such a positive experience making this pair, it was really good. It was a really, like, I felt good about it. It all went together really well with no major problems. Like, even though they were really too big for me, I managed just to scale it down really quickly, really easily. Nothing got warped out of shape. So it was a very, very easy make and extremely quick as well. So I have been left with 3 really wearable pieces of clothing to wear to work this month. So it might not be my most exciting month of makes, but they were really, really practical. I'm probably going to make this time and time again, so it's definitely one to keep hold of. But do try and get hold of this if you can, because it's a great little pattern, and I think if you can pick it up on eBay for £2.50, it's an absolute bargain. So that's what I made throughout the month of March. Like I said, if you do need help learning how to do those fitting techniques, do head over to Made to Sew and watch Anika's videos. They're extremely helpful. So thank you so much for joining me this week. If you have liked this video, do give it a little thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'm going to see you really soon. Take care. Bye! Thanks for watching.